is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We won a grand tournament over the last weekend. We played Chaos Space Marines. We're going to do a 5-video event because it was 5 games. We went the only person to go 5-0. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of tactics, what we did good, what we could have done better, the lists we played against. And the last game was a very, very super competitive game. We actually beat the guy who won Atlantic City Open this year. First time I got to meet him and play against him. Really cool dude. But we're going to go over each game for you guys. I'm going to save the beginning of this clip. So if you guys have already seen this, fast forward to where the video starts. But we're going to go over the list specifically in every single video, just so you guys know exactly what we did for each video. So if you guys play a specific army, you can click on the video and see everything you guys need. So guys, appreciate it. Let's get into the video. First, I'd like to thank all of my Patreons. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. You guys help grow the channel. We did just hit 7,000 subscribers as of making this video. So you'll see kind of how much we grew since then. But first off, we're going to go into the merch. So like I said, if you guys already seen this, fast forward to the video. But we got merch, $1 for Dirtbag Dice. We got a bunch of different colors. We have green, orange, silver, blue, and a black, red color dice, which is, they all look sick. And all these stickers we sell with the dice. And then we have models such as the Kaldis Assassin and Codiez. We are working on other models for 3D prints as well, but they are pretty similar to what you see on the tabletop, so you can use them as proxies. And then also the objective markers, if you see them in any of the games, they are sold in the link below. If you guys are interested in getting some new objective markers, you can pick any one of the pictures you see to my left here and put them on an objective mark and change the color for each one as well. They're all customizable. So that's the merch. But let's get into the video. First off, we're going to go over the list. So starting off at the top, we bring Abaddon the Spoiler. Now this isn't needed. There's a lot of lists out there that run triple Curse Cultists with triple Lords and Chosen, stuff like that. We didn't bring any of the Chosen or any of the Lords in this matchup or in this grand tournament. We were mainly focused on Abaddon and the Accursed Cultists. And if you could deal with the Accursed Cultists, then you still have to deal with Abaddon. So Abaddon specifically with this list, you bring him for the 4+ invuln save. It gets around a lot of different stuff. It's a 6-inch aura, so every single turn you're going to have basically one of your Accursed Cultist models within 6 inches of Abaddon. So that way you can have your entire unit have a 4+ invuln save. So it skews the math so much by having a little model tank a 4+ invuln melt a shot to the face multiple times coming in. So the way to kill this is mass volume of attacks compared to big shots trying to kill big guys in the unit. Because then you just take it on a little dark commune model and they die, and then boom, you don't really lose anything from it. So he's in there specifically for the 4+ invuln, and he takes care of any major tanks or huge units that you're really afraid of getting to you, because he's kind of just camping behind a wall, and then you need to launch him out when you need to launch him out. But Abaddon still super good, 310 points. And then we got the Dark Commune. We have 2 of them as Undivided, and one of them is Nurgle. I started to run the Nurgle Undivided because when you start them on the table, you at least have a unit that can't be shot at outside 12 inches. And it really helps with turn 1 and turn 2 by taking over the center or taking over an objective that you want to just camp your 30 OBSEC unit onto, and then people have to get close to deal with them, or if they get too close, you just advance in charge and get in their face with your Nurgle unit. Now, they don't do too much damage compared to the Undivided, but they're there just to be a nuisance and kind of control the board in the center and on a far objective, because they can't be shot with the Nurgle strat. Now, we have 3 units of these guys because they naturally give the unit a 5+ invuln save, but once per game, you can do the advance and charge, +1 hit, +1 wound, which kills almost anything in the game, especially with full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound for 1 CP. So 2 units of Undivided, 1 with Nurgle. Then Cultist mobs, I just love this in Chaos Space Marines because they have sticky objective. So you always start 1 unit of these guys on your home field objective, so that way you at least make it sticky. So if they do happen to die, you still have a sticky objective that you can still get points. This has saved so many games getting that extra 5 or 10 points just because you have your home field objective. Again, it also helps with secondaries, where if you control your home field objective and then control center objective, you get points for your secondary game as well. So unit of cultists, almost 100% in all my lists. This list has 2 Curse Cultists, just so you can have 2 extra blob squads that one can do for blocking out your opponent. Move blocking, which we're going to do a video on, but move blocking, running to the center, stealing an objective, or just kind of getting secondary objectives in the corners if you want to put one into reserves as well. But again, they're both Nurgle just because the Nurgle on your defensive units is so good, because if you need them to survive for points, you can't be shot outside 12 inches. So let's say they're bombarding you with Plague Burst Crawlers from super far away, you could just spend 1 CP. Now they can't shoot at your Nurgle unit on turn 1 because you really want to make that home field objective sticky. So a unit of Legionnaires to piggyback with Abaddon. Abaddon does kind of need a bodyguard unit, so you can just spend 90 points for an extra 10 wounds, all with a 4-up invuln save because they're going to be attached to Abaddon, and they have all the marks. So they're able to advance and charge if you need to, fall back, shoot and charge, get exploding 5s or 5s to shooting, or 5s in melee because they're corn. So they get all the marks, which is great. You can bring a last cannon. I'm probably going to switch it up and get rid of the last cannon, but again, I'm not sure. Just one extra random shot that can explode on 5s. Strength 12 -1 d6 +1 damage is not bad, just to have an extra long shot. It might be the first one to die in your unit, but that's fine. And why you bring the Legionnaires is you put them with Abaddon. So if the model is on an objective, let's say you charge a unit and that unit's on an objective, Abaddon gains the full rerolls to wound because of the Legionnaires. So he has devastating wounds, 3 damage, AP 4. So he's running in, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s because of Undivided, and then getting full rerolls to wound, most of the time wounding on 2s. So he's just doing so many devastating wounds to the unit that you're attacking because of the Legionnaires. The last thing that you bring the Legionnaires for is because of the reroll for the Dark Pact. So Abaddon gets me a 2-up Dark Pact CP. So if you fail your Dark Pact, you can have these guys re-roll it because of the icon in the unit. So you roll 5 up. If you don't roll it, you get 1 free reroll because of the icon. And then if you pass it, then you roll 2+. So many times I failed a 5 up, and then you re-roll it because of the Legionnaires, and then boom, you get your Dark Pact for a 2-up save or 2-up CP, which is huge. So then obviously you have your 3 accursed cultists attached with your Dark Communes. 2 are Undivided, 1 is Nurgle. Spikes, very good for secondary mission. They're 85 points. They're also Nurgle because you could bring Plasma Pistol and 2 Plasma Guns. So basically, you're coming in on the side table edge with 5 Plasma Shots, overcharging, obviously, and Dark Pacting. So you're exploding on 5s, and then you're Strength 8, so you're just nuking Marines most of the time coming in from the board edge. I've killed 5, 6, 7 Marines with these guys coming in, hitting on 3s, exploding on 5s, and then wounding on 2s. AP 3, 2 damage. It's kind of scary what these guys potentially could do, plus all the bolter shots, which I almost always forget about. But really good coming in from the side table edge. But what really makes them good is you can block out so much of your backfield with them. So as long as you keep them within 6 inches of the board edge, you can take them off the board edge at the end of your opponent's turn and bring them back on. So almost every single turn you're taking them off, because once you get your secondaries drawn, you can then bring them back on either the same spot, just because if you need to block out the board edge, you block out the board edge. But if you need them that turn, let's say investigate signals, behind enemy lines, engage in all fronts, or just block out an edge, you can bring them on, keep them 2 inches away from each other, bring them in 6 inches, and then boom, that's a huge 25-inch gap that you can block out of deep strikes or something like that. So they're really good for secondaries and really good at blocking out the backfield. And if you need them to come in late game to shoot something, they could do that as well. 2 Forge Fiends, because they're just super good for their points still. 1 Nurgle. This one should be Undivided, so I changed it in, I think, my tournament list. So I changed it to Undivided because it performed so well in test games. So I'm actually changing it right now. So the Undivided, it is always a 1 in reserves. The Nurgle one starts on the table, so it can't be shot at turn 1. So you put it behind the wall or something, and you always want to make sure you can walk at 8 inches and potentially get a shot off on something. But that one's starting on the table because it has the Nurgle strat, so you won't be able to be shot back outside 12 inches. So the Undivided comes in from a table edge almost always, and then gets a line of sight to what you want to kill. It's made to kill 10 squads of Terminators. So 10-man units or Terminators, that's basically what the Forge Fiends are made to kill. But also killing tanks and stuff because of the Undivided you spend 1 CP to reroll hits and wounds. So your devastating wounds just get carried over like extreme because of the rerolls. So 1 Nurgle, 1 Undivided with the Forge Fiends. And then we have 3 units of 3 Nurglings. They're just super good for blocking out secondaries, turn 1, objectives, all that stuff. So they're OBSEC 0. They can't go through walls, so make sure you remember that. You start them. I usually start 2 on the table and 1 in Deep Strike. So depending on if you need to move block or block out turn 1, like let's say you're facing Space Wolves or Orcs, you're going to want to try and block out, move block your opponent as much as possible. Nurglings are really good with that, and they have -1 to hit within 6 inches in combat, which a lot of people forget about. So it's a huge aura of -1 to hit with all everything, I think, besides vehicles and monsters. So really good aura for a 35-point unit that can infiltrate and also help out with the Seekers. So the Seekers have the pregame move 9 inches, but you can't pregame move within 9 inches of another unit. So if your opponent has infiltrators and you have infiltrators, you're going to want to put down your infiltrators first and spread them out. So that way you have a little path. So your Nurglings can then, or your Seekers can move up behind them turn 1 if you have turn 1. If you have turn 2, where you don't go second or first, you can move them defensively, the Seekers, behind a wall or a ruin or whatever, so they can't be shot turn 1. But if you do at first, your Seekers can pregame move 9 inches up, and they're not blocked out by other infiltrators because of your Nurglings, and then they can move up 14 and go do something, whether it be a secondary or move block, which you're going to see a lot in this tournament, or charge something really small turn 1 just to get them across the table. So Seekers played huge stuff in this 5 match GT over the weekend. And then we have Celeste. She is just super good into Eldar, and she's really good for secondaries just because she can come back up on a 2+, and she has 9 freaking wounds for some reason. T6, 9 wounds, 4 up invuln save, and doesn't kill a lot. I've noticed, like, doesn't really kill anything. She's just mainly there to come down, flame or something, move up, charge something, hold something up in combat, but really just be there for secondaries. She has an assault weapon, so once she's down on the table, she can advance and do an action because she has an assault weapon. So again, really good at just speed 9, like 8 or 9, like really fast. So that's why she's in the list. 120 points, well worth it, because when she gets back up on a 2+, it's full wounds. So basically you're getting 2 of these models for 120 points. So that's the list. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and then we'll get into each video, starting with 1 through 5, depending on what video your guys are on. All right, guys, so here's the first game of the tournament. We actually happened to go into Space Wolf, which I think I've only played Space Wolves once, which was recent. Actually, it was last RTT in 10th edition. So Space Wolves is probably one of my favorite Space Marine armies besides Blood Angels. So they're just really cool. We actually played Beaner here. So Beaner was a super fun guy. He's on a competitive team, but he hasn't got a lot of games in for 10th edition. But his list is kind of more of a fluff list. He just wanted to play everything that was painted, and his paint job was immaculate. Super cool. A lot of customizable pieces, especially for Space Wolves. So we'll go over his list real quick. We have the double lightning claw dread, a unit of these guys that have the jump packs on them. I think they're the guys that have like the little guns that can tether you and pull you in. Unit of infiltrators that can't be deep strike within 12 inches. We have these guys in a drop pod, the blade guard, with a captain. We have a unit of 10 terminators which have infiltrate. These guys are insane with infiltrate. It's kind of nuts with the captain. Wolf dude. 2 of the big dreads, both have plasmas and big fists on them with the missile pod up top. We have a big ass land raider tank thingy. Sorry guys, if you guys are new to the channel, I don't know a lot of the names. I'm good at the army that I play. I don't know the names of other armies. So if you guys want to make fun of me in the comments, please, just because nothing's really going to change. I'm just good at playing the game, not really good at knowing what other people names are. And my whole team makes fun of me for it, but they're like, how the hell do you win so many games if you don't even know what the hell you're playing? I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I'm going to do a video on it eventually, but We have 4 lightning cav, 3 of the wolves with the leader in there as well, and that is his 2,000 point list. So for the setup, this was the setup for turn 1 or game 1. This one is probably one of my favorite missions. It's Purge the Foe. You get points on your primary based off what you kill and what you hold. So if you kill a unit, you get 4 points each side, and if you kill more than your opponent at the end of the battleground, you get an additional 4 points. Also, if you control more than your opponent with objectives, you get 8. If you just control an objective, you get 4. So it's pretty easy for this one if you pay attention to it. If you don't, and you're not really killing as much as your opponent, you're gonna lose a lot on primary. So we have a thing over to the right here. If you could see to your right, my left, we have all of the missions that we had throughout the entire thing. I had my opponent kind of screenshot and send it to me just so we can do it. I do it old school. I write everything down on this little sheet down here, but I don't write down the secondary missions. So I have them kind of like send me the secondary missions. I should honestly just have my phone and do the secondaries specifically for these videos, but next GT we'll work on that. Next one's actually the UTC, which we got invited to in 2 weeks. So being top 32 in the Northeast, you get invited to the GT. 10,000 prize winning GT. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. All right, this is our deployment. We have our green squad, which is the Nurgle squad. They're behind this thing and a little bit sticking out just so they can be within 6 of Abaddon after they move. We have the red squad, which we're kind of behind as much cover as we possibly can. We have the Seekers starting here because if they have the pregame move, they can move up 9 inches behind this cover over here. And then we have the Cultists starting on the objective, Forge Fiend Nurgle starting back here so that way you can move 8 inches this way and get line of sight to these guys. Bikes in the back here, Abaddon and Legionnaires there. And then we have our Nurglings up here so that way they can either move this way for cleanse, move this way to block out, the other unit over here to either move over cleanse or move this way to block out. So that's what the 2 Nurglings are doing. He had a unit of infiltrators there, jump head dudes there, big dread back here, little dread with the landing calls. I'm sorry, big dread, cav, big ass thing over there, and he infiltrated the Terminators right dead center with the Lord. So if he got turn 1, he was able to kind of move up, charge, pile in, kill a bunch of shit. But we luckily had turn 1. So our goal is to really kill as much shit as possible because of the mission. So we had turn 1, we moved everything up. We advanced basically everything as far forward as we possibly could, which is what it looks like right here. So Nurglings, we're going to move up and charge these guys, but they spent 1 CP, or I think they have it automatically. They basically are able to move back 6 inches automatically. So that charge was all basically impossible. If I knew that ahead of time, I wouldn't have put them on the objective because that would have given him free secondary points if he picks that mission, which I believe he did. For turn 1, we get aerial denial and assassination. So my goal is to really kill or basically take out as much as possible for this squad in the center. So we were able to move our Forge Fiend 8 inches this way, the Nurgle one, to get line of sight on this unit over here, which was a 10-man Terminator brick. So that's what they're made for. The exploding on 5s, getting an extra 6 shots because of a blast is huge for the Forge Fiends of Nurgle. So we basically kill, I think, 7 of these Terminators, leaving the character in there with the 3 regular Terminators left. So the Forge Fiend moves up, nukes 7 of them. The dudes move up, the Seekers, to block the movement of these guys, and they get me aerial denial in the center. The Nurglings scooch up just so they can, again, block off moving over here. And then Abaddon runs up, these guys run up, and the green guys all run up to tag this objective. So we're basically moving up everything to set up for turn 2. They all have a 4-up invuln save, so we're pretty much protected for this turn with all the shooting. The Cultists make this sticky and back up. The Bikes kind of just chill in the back here. And the other Cultists scooch up to block out the charges from the Cav moving up so they can't get in onto my green squad over here. So, pretty good turn 1. His turn 1, he moves up. And and then shoots and then charges my Seekers. We then spend 2 CP to Heroic Intervention with my red squad, so that way I can scooch up and get some more attacks onto this unit over here. So that's basically what we're doing, is we're fighting in the center over here. The Wolfcat move up, and I think they failed their charge onto the screen squad. Yeah, so they failed their charge. He had the reroll, failed it again. This squad moved up. This Dread just slungshot to kill this 35-point Nurgle unit, which was fine with me. He got a overwhelming force and investigate signal, so he actually had to move back this huge ass tank in the back corner to get investigate signals, and his infiltrators over here in the back corner did investigate in that corner. So he did 2 investigate and overwhelming force, which he was able to basically kill units on the objective. So he killed the Seekers and killed these Nurglings pretty easily on his turn. Then our turn 2, we basically moved everything up. We spent 1 CP, so that way this unit can kill that unit over there. So I think that's what we did turn 1. I think they charged in. We spent 1 CP to get full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound, so that way we can kill this Terminator squad with all of our big accursed cultists. So we countercharged for 2 CP, spent 1 CP to get full rerolls to hit and wound, and just nuke this squad so we can get Assassinate turn 1. So we kept Assassinate just so we can get it on his turn, which is awesome. So we got 5 and 5, and then we got 8 for primary, and he got 8 for primary as well. So turn 2, we start scooching up, and at this point he basically lost his 10-man Terminator brick with his captain. His Wolf Guard are about to be swarmed by the green unit up here. He's got his Dreads, which don't really do too much to the Accursed Cultists. We bring on our Accursed Cultists down here. We usually rapid ingress them, but we don't really need to because we got turn 1. So we usually rapid ingress our Accursed Cultists, but I've said, hey, if I make a 9-inch charge, I make a 9-inch charge. If not, it doesn't matter. They come on, they surround the Undivided Forge Fiend, so that way he can get some shots off on either these guys over here or the Dread right here to try and kill it and shooting. The Nurgle kind of stays back here to get, if he comes out anywhere over here, I'll be able to get shots off on. Abaddon starts moving up this way, so that way he can help finish off this Cav unit, but he keeps the red unit within 6 inches, the green unit within 6 inches, so everybody has a 4-up invuln save. The bikes are staying back here to block out the backfield. Sile came down on his home field because we actually did get capture enemy outpost on turn 2, so he left enough room to deep strike my Sile directly in the center to get capture enemy outpost because he had to move his tank back, which he tried to overwatch me and didn't kill Sile. Even if he did, we would have rolled a 2-up and got back up on the objective. So that's why Sile's so good with secondaries. And then we had no prisoners. So all I had to do was kill units to get no prisoner points, which we killed the vehicle right here to shooting for the Undivided. We charged in and killed these guys, the jump pack dudes, with this unit. We tied them again back to stay within 6 inches of Abaddon. The green unit killed the wolves over here. So we basically got a lot for no prisoners. And then we tied up this tank right here, because I found out that if you tie up this big Dread with a Cursed Cultist, there's just not enough attacks coming back to kill the whole unit. And we just keep bringing them back every command phase. Sile lives with 4 wounds over here to get me capture enemy outpost. And all he has left, really, he forgot the drop out turn 1, which another was a thing where I kind of knew, all right, this was going our way for the game. We block out almost the entire field. So we have all of this blocked out. So all he can bring in his drop pod was over here. So he brings his guys down in. Here, he makes the charge onto my red squad with his blade company. He kills, a couple guys, doesn't kill enough. I spend 1 CP for this red squad to fall back, shoot, and charge. So that way he's able to kind of fall back, shoot this Dread, and then charge. So that way I can just tie up and hold his backfield objective with all this OBSEC. Sile gets charged by the tank shocked, dies, comes back up. So that way she can just move off the objective over here and just kind of chill for behind enemy lines. Because we get behind enemy lines and defend stronghold on our turn. So we get behind enemy lines with Sile. We get behind enemy lines with these Nurglings that deep struck on turn 3. And then everything else tied up. So these guys are tied up here. Abaddon slaps back the Blade Guard over here to kill them on the objective. Full rerolls to wound because of the Legionnaires, which is nuts. These guys tie up the tank over here, or the Dread. The Forge Fiends are just kind of scooching back in the back here. And that's basically it. He on his turn, he didn't get anything for secure no man's land or engage in all fronts. And then bring it down, he was able to kill Sile for 3 points that one turn. And then on his turn, he gets defend stronghold and attempting target, and then storm hostile and no prisoners. So he wasn't able to get anything left for the mission. And then on turn, this is the final score. So we finish up. Space Puppies get 38, and then Night Lords, which I put just because of shits and giggles, we get 50 for primary, 40 for secondary. So we max out 100 on our first game against Space Wolves. The biggest thing that I would say going into this matchup is be fearful of the amount of tax that the Cav have. So anytime you're going against the Cav, if you can move block them with your Seekers, move block them with your Nurglings, keep Nurglings within 6 inches of your units, so that way they're -1 to hit. Block out as much as you possibly can with the tanks. Abaddon, don't commit him until he's able to kill something worth the points of him. So killing something 300 plus points, or killing something and then taking an objective over for his points back is worth it for Abaddon. You don't want Abaddon to die early on, because then your kind of list falls apart with a 5-up invuln save. You want to keep at least one guy near Abaddon most of the game until you're ready to spread out and take over the board. That's why this unit over here, we don't have anything near Abaddon, but they're tying up a Dread for the rest of the game. So he can't shoot his blast into combat, so he has to shoot his blast elsewhere. But he can't shoot into this unit because you can't shoot in a unit that's engaged, that's infantry. You can shoot into another tank, but there's really nothing else he can shoot over here because everything is engaged. So we got rid of his gun. He only has 4 or 5 attacks. I have a 5-up invuln save. I don't care about his 3 damage weapons. What else did we realize here is the Forge Fiends just nuke 10-man Terminator squads. Like, that is their job. That's why they're in the list. And then the Nurglings having 1 in Deep Strike, super good for late game secondaries, at least turn 2 or turn 3. And Sile is just so good for secondary specifically. She doesn't have to kill anything all game. As long as she gets you secondary points, she's doing her job. Yeah, so this one was the first matchup of the game, of the tournament. He's never faced this before. Not a lot of people have, but if you have, the thing to go against them is really just mass volume of either shots or shots leading up with charges, and focus down one unit of a Cursed Cultist at a time. That's the way to kind of really go into it if you're a Space Wolves player. Yeah, so that is... Oh, and try and remember your drop pod turn 1, because if you had turn 1 and you dropped him like right behind this little ruin right here, I can't shoot at them, and they basically get out of the drop pod outside of 9 inches of a unit. And then if you fail your charge, at least you're protected from shooting next turn. That way you can move them up on your turn and then charge something that you really want to charge. So, or try and get them in my backfield and make that 9-inch charge turn 1 or turn 2. So, quick battle report for you guys. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments below what you liked, didn't like, how we can improve on the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, hit the subscribe. We just hit 7,000 subscribers. Head over to Patreon if you guys want to support the channel. Thank you all my Patreons. You guys are fucking awesome. Join the Dirtbag Nation. Dice and everything is up for sale. And we'll see you in the next battle report, which is game 2 against another really good Space Wolf player that actually played all of the Cuddle Buddies that tournament. There was 4 of us at this tournament, and he happened to play, I think, 3 or 4 of us every single game. So appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll see you in the next battle report. What's up, gents? Welcome to the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. This is going to be support to the Dirtbag Nation. Just to give you a little insight on what we're trying to do and trying to grow into, we're trying to grow a brand name of the Dirtbag Nation, 40k Dirtbags, going all over the country and coaching people to get better at the game of 40k. We have really good coaching over at the Dirtbag Nation. Myself is ranked #1 for Grey Knights in the world last year in 9th edition. This year, we're currently ranked #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world on ITC 40k rankings. So we have a lot of experience over at the channel, and a lot of the coaches are going to start joining in and joining the Dirtbag Nation to help you guys get better at 40k. If you guys are new to the Patreon page, we have a couple different tiers. The first tier is the $1 tier. That's basically just coming over, supporting us for $1 a month. You get first access to the Dirtbag videos up on Patreon. The next tier is a $5 tier. Basically, you get first access as well as just have a little bit more branding with the Patreon Discord page. And you want to support us a little bit more than $1 a month. I really appreciate both you guys. The $10 tier is a competitive Dirtbag page. That's where we get more into the tactics, one-on-one coaching on the Discord. And if you guys have any questions, comments, list ideas, tactics, or game questions, you guys get to message us one-on-one through Discord. Make sure you take advantage of that because it's completely up to you to ask me any questions you possibly need in the 40k community. Finally, we have the Grandmaster Dirtbag. That Dirtbag is above and beyond. They come out and they basically want us to coach them one-on-one with calls on via Discord, TTS games, battle reports, or any tactical videos that you guys want suggestions to, you guys will get first access to, and we actually play live games for you guys or go over battle reports for our Grandmasters. Anything armies that you want to see specifically on the tabletop, that's the Grandmaster Dirtbag page. So it's just an explanation on what the different tiers are for Patreon. But again, thank you so much for the support. If you guys are thinking about it, you do have really good coaching. We drink beers, we have fun, we just kind of chill out and teach you guys how to have fun at 40k, unlike some other people on YouTube. But have fun at 40k, be good, win some games, more than you're averagely winning over there all over the world. And if you guys really just want to support the channel, we have our $1 and $5 a month as well. There's all the stickers and dice available to you guys at a discount, and you have your own Patreon tab in Discord that nobody else has access to besides you guys. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We're going to grow Dirtbag Nation as much as we possibly can in 2024 and get it all thanks to you guys. Appreciate it.